I know you studied sociology, so with topics such as, race, discrimination, other topics, like, is there anything that that could,
Help you?
yes.
Yeah, great question. It really depends on what topic you're referring to. I could tell you where I go for my resources, right? One of the people that I listen to, and he's an incredible guy, Thomas Sowell. I read his books, I listen to his speeches, and he has a lot of reference points and research that's already done. I really don't think you have to recreate the wheel. You find intelligent people on both sides, and you listen to their arguments and their research points, and look that up, and you'll find a lot of clarification on these things. One of the books that I would refer with Thomas Sowell is Black Rednecks and White Liberals. That book, in the first like 5 pages, you'll feel like you're the smartest person in the world. It tackles the issues of the modern day Black culture that we consider today. And it gives the story of why Black people are in the position that they're in, how historically the country has changed, and that some of the things that Black people are dealing with today is not uniquely a Black culture issue. It actually came from Europe, adopted by Blacks in the South, and it's been perpetuated. So issues of racial, I would say cultural identity is something that book explains. There's another book that he has. I forget the name of the book. I'll come back to you. But when you listen to Thomas Sowell, that's a good resource. And I'll say just go down the rabbit hole with people that are scholars in that arena. A lot of what I speak on is people that I know personally that give information to me and my own experiences. So when it comes to racism in America, based on my experience, based on the things that I've researched, I think racism is a false narrative that's perpetuated to keep people victimized. Because I used to feel like America was racist, and it was in my mind. I get pulled over by a cop and I say, well, he pulled me over just because I'm Black. Now, I have no unequivocal evidence to prove that. It's just what I feel like. And after becoming a cop, it opened up my understanding to realize that maybe, just maybe, that's not the truth. So I will say that that's the way I approach my knowledge and information is I go to scholars and people that I trust with that, and I use my own experiences. Do you have something specific that you disagree with that you'd like me to clarify?
So I have been, studying race and ethnicity specifically as like a side thing. I just find it more interesting. And I found that there was a lot of information. Personally, I was like, racism doesn't exist. There aren't like any actual effects to that. But when I did my research, I found that there were disparities in a lot of different fields and how a lot of it is generational. So, for example, 1 in 10 children of incarcerated parents go into crime. So when the war on drugs happened, it caused the next generation of kids to be more likely to commit crimes from then. And at that time, during the war on drugs, crime had actually decreased, even in Black communities. Black communities were becoming wealthier, and this set them lower because, sorry, give me a second.
No, let me address that. I think that a lot of times we conflate the difference between disparities and racism or disparities and discrimination. There are disparities that exist in this country, but there's reasons why. Like for instance, more Black people get arrested per capita than white people do. And you look at it and you say, well, that may be racism, right? There has to be racism. Cops are attacking Black people and approaching Black people more often than they do whites. But then you look at the fact that Black people commit far more crime. Over half of all violent crimes are committed by Blacks, and the numbers vary, but right under half of all murders that exist in America are perpetuated by Black people. But that is the reason why Black people are being arrested more, not necessarily because police are racist against them. Let me give you another example. When you talk about police shootings, you probably can't name a single unarmed white person that's been shot. You can't name them. You don't see the video. So the narrative that Black people are somehow attacked and targeted by law enforcement officers, it's not necessarily true when you look at the facts.